Hello there. This is Mr. Big Nate again with another exciting installment of um, Diablo 4 content. Basically, what I wanted to go over today is the uh, Miasma Corpse Explosion Necro, and I've been seeing it's been getting a lot of attention because of its ability to generate corpses and kind of go all in on Corpse Explosion to reset all your skills and essentially not really have to use any of your essence, which I think is the way that the devs wanted the build to be eventually be made. Like I said before, I think this build is a lot like um, uh, uh, the NGLM or NGOM, I don't know how you say it, from D3, that sorceress or sorcerer from or the wizard, sorry, from D3, from like the early stages of D3. Like, I think it was like season 1, 2, or 3. That kind of really took off, and everyone was running it just because it was so powerful. It really feels like that build where you kind of just like get rolling, and then the damage comes, all your skills are on cooldown, and you're still able to apply a lot of pressure to the monsters and keep them on the back foot, as well as have enough defensive capabilities to survive any hits that they'll be thrown at you. So I think that this build is quite spot on. I'm level 80 now. I've been helping out my friends. I probably would be a higher level if I was just dungeon running, but I've been helping out my homies get to their respective levels, and I'm really trying to get them to tier 4 so we can start doing some of that sweet health high content, get them all geared up, and then we can have our whole posse. I have like a group of friends I play with, and every single one of us is running a different character, so I've been really happy about that. I finally made the switch from two-handed weapon to uh, uh, one hand and offhand. And the reason is because of lucky hit and attack speed. Lucky hit and attack speed are just insane, and they really allow you to have full uptime on this build. So let's get into it. Bone Storm. It's auto include in every Necro build. I don't see anybody not using it. I saw this build at the beginning of the game, and I've loved it ever since. Your damage reduction, you get critical strike chance by 20%, which means you don't even really need critical strike chance. You just put it on, and this thing just kind of does it all for you. And you don't really need that much critical strike chance with the build anyways, but it's always a nice welcome little bonus. Then you got Blood Mist. I got turned on to this by the guy who ran the 100 Nightmare Dungeon. Dude, I think it was Nakabon. Good on him. He freaking knocked it out of the park with this build. I'm sure a lot of other people were trying this build out too, but I was off of Blood Mist. I gotta say, I was late to the party on Blood Mist. I didn't think it had what it took. I was just like, why would I invest in this if I can't move around? The mobility was crap, and I was just like, I'm not about it. Now that I've seen the different aspects that you can put in to give it more movement speed, to give it more damage, to proc your corpse explosions, I'm sold. So I want to shout out to all those guys that made this thing possible, and I really they really changed my mind about that one. Also, you get overpowering deals bonus damage. You get to fortify life. You get you're immune. You get to move through all control impairing effects. It's just amazing, and you can basically have almost full uptime on this. Iron Maiden. So where I deviate from the other builds is that I don't run corpse tendrils. Everybody runs corpse tendrils, and I assume it's because you can actually click on the corpses. I can't really click on the corpses because I run on a controller. So you can see how it says left trigger, right trigger, A, X for my skill tree, and B for dash, and all this other lovely stuff. So that's pretty awesome. And then so I just use Iron Maiden and I use Iron Maiden and Decrepify, and you'll see here imprinted. You deal 60% increased shadow damage to enemies afflicted by both Decrepify and Iron Maiden. I found this godly Ancestral Legendary Amulet. Perfect movement speed, perfect cooldown reduction, perfect rank of all core skills, and perfect ranks of amplified damage, which I already have 3 into, so now we have 6. So monsters are not only taking, I think it was 9%, they're taking 18% extra damage, and then on top of that, I'm getting an additional 60% increased shadow damage to all enemies afflicted by both Decrepify and Iron Maiden. You want full uptime on these anyways, so I figured it was just an easier auto-include because you're just going around looking like, Harry Potter, um, Leviosa, and you're applying it at all times anyways. So for me, it's an easy auto include. And corpse tendrils, for me, would just spawn on a random corpse like a mile away from where I'm at, and it would just pull all the monsters away. It wasn't effective, so forget that noise. So if you're a console player, you are going to love this build. You are going to feel so empowered to just do whatever you want, run through whatever content you want, and just enjoy yourself. The oldies but goodies, everybody runs Decrepify for the cooldown, lucky hit, also a lot better chance of getting stunned. Then you got your Reap. Of course, you just can use this for, what do you call it? Damage reduction, and you can also use this for spawning corpses if you're really corpse light. But more often than not, you'll spawn corpses with your Blood Mist, and then you'll be Bone Storming, and those will spawn enough corpses with Lucky Hit anyways, because we have over 30% Lucky Hit with this build. This one's got great Lucky Hit chance, and it's got great radius, and so this one does a fantastic amount of damage, and it's been changed to Miasma. So, and we got 3 additional ranks in a Corpse Explosion, and I'm looking for those pants, baby. If I can get 4 Corpse Explosion on my pants, we're talking about 12 Corpse Explosion damage. We are talking about massive damage here, so I'm really looking forward. This build isn't even fleshed out yet, and it is crushing. I'm only gonna do a 30. What's this? A 30. Oh, did it go away? Did it go away after a while? Oh, no. I just went back to the front of the dungeon. Let's set this up here, just so you guys know I'm not just effing around. Yeah, we're gonna do a 32. I mean, it's a cakewalk. We're level 80. 32, I think, is like 86, 87. It's nothing too crazy. I've done a 44. That was a struggle, and I did it with my poor build. I was really on Blight for a while. But I think this is the way to go now. And then you got, of course, the skills or the abilities that you're going to be using. So I need a new helm. I need the Lucky Hit with Barrier Helm that of course, the 100 guy was running. But we have pretty good stats otherwise. What you want on this is max life, cooldown reduction, total armor, and then you want to get a Sork. You want to trade a Sork or create a Sork and roll your helm if you get those 3 affixes: cooldown reduction, total armor, max life. Then you want to change the 4 ranks of Decrepify. You want to change that into Lucky Hit while a barrier is up. You can get up to plus 16.5, I believe, which is absolutely insane. Then you got the chest. I wish that this chest did have max life on it. It doesn't. I don't know. Maybe chests can't roll it, but other than that, this thing's a freaking total stat stick. It's got damage reduction from close enemies, control impaired duration reduction. So if I do get control impaired, it lasts even less. 10.3% damage reduction from enemies that are affected by shadow time or shadow damage over time, which is always what they're going to be affected by, because that's what our build is. And then we got 9.2% total armor, which is a pretty decent roll. I got very lucky with these. Perfect Lucky Hit chance on these health and belows. This is godly, and I've been killing things ever since. Plus 25.5% corpse skill attack speed, really high roll. Pretty decent Lucky Hit chance on the stun. So again, we got more stun capabilities. And then the fear, I got really high on the fear. I think the best rolls of these would be to have Lucky Hit. The fear is the lowest percentage. I think 14.2% would be best in slot. And then of course the corpse explosion damage up to 40 would be best in slot. Pants. This is where I wish I had, instead of dodge chance against close enemies, I wish I had corpse explosion. So damage reduction, maximum life. I don't know if you can get, again, I don't know if you can get total armor on your pants. If you can, you'd want to roll that onto them. I would say the best thing for this thing would be total armor if you can get it, damage reduction, maximum life, and then corpse explosion. That's the build. And you'll see, as I'm clicking through all of these, you'll see the aspects as we're going down. Here, these rolled amazingly. These like almost best in slot boots for me. Fire resistance I know isn't that great, but I actually, because of the way my rings are set up, the fire resistance is just really welcome, and it really rounds out the rest of my resistances. So actually, I really like it. Dope movement speed. These roll great, and they're imprinted with the Ghost Walker. I didn't know what to put into my wand. I just decided to put in increased damage while you have a barrier active. I got this wand from a vendor. The vendor had it roll. It was a perfect damage roll. It had really high intel. I'll just look at my wand. I haven't touched it yet. I haven't touched this wand. So it's got 92 intelligence, perfect damage to crowd control enemies, about mid damage to close enemies, and then perfect damage over time with a perfect damage roll, and it's an over 800 ancestral legendary wand. Just godly. Then we've got our Fiendish Folio. Again, perfect damage roll. I didn't know about this before, but the weapons can roll damage, so it's not a range of damage that it deals. It is literally the damage that it deals. This is the range that it can roll. And so, as you can see, it rolled 978, which is the highest, and here it rolled 1297, which is also the highest. Then it rolled, I don't know what the cooldown reduction range is, it just gives you one, so I assume this is like one of the higher ones. Its item level isn't like super high, but it's high enough. Darn near perfect cooldown reduction, right? 14. High intelligence, mid intelligence. It took me a lot of rolls. I thought you could roll lucky hit on this, so I rolled this a million times for a lot of money. Probably a bad idea. But 18.2% damage reduction from enemies that are affected by shadow damage. So again, mitigation. Then it gets life on kill. So that applies additionally with our Iron Maiden, which gives you life after an enemy dies. So this is just free money. You're getting about 400 to 500 life per enemy killed. So that's just great. Rings, we kind of run the gamut. You're getting all of the affixes you want. We really would like lucky hit on these, but because we are running a wand right now, we're okay. But later on, we're probably going to want the best in slot weapon, which is like I think the Black River or something like that. And then we're going to want lucky hit chance to lucky hit on our rings. But I will say, we want all of these rolls. All these rolls are good. We also want max life. So I think the best in slot for a ring would be max life, lucky hit, shadow damage, and damage to close enemies is kind of what I'm thinking. It could possibly be damage over time. I'm not certain, but that remains to be seen. Then we've got this other one that's damage affected by shadow, basically damage over time again for shadow damage. But then we got the maximum life roll. We got damage to stunned enemies, which we'd probably roll off, and then 18.8% damage to crowd control. We actually dipped into all of these buckets. We haven't, which I think is okay. It's not great. I think I'd rather just have more max life, lucky hit, and then again, we want damage to close, and then maybe damage over time. Or no, sorry, shadow damage, and then damage to close. That's probably what we're looking at. And then I rolled, again, I think I already showed this, Godly Amulet, and we imprinted it with Decrepify and Iron Maiden. So we're going to jump in here. Sorry for that long spiel, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what the build looks like. Kind of what we do is we just apply Decrepify, Iron Maiden, then we just dive in with our Blood Mist to generate corpses. As you can see, it makes corpses, so that's really nice. And then we start blowing around some wind with our Bone Storm, and then you start casting if you need more uptime, and that's about it. You honestly don't even need Reap. Reap is just there for honestly generating corpses if you're like really need it, and it applies damage reduction. So let's just get in here. I apologize if that was too long in the tooth, but I did want to kind of go over how everything is run. So let's just get in here. But this is definitely controller friendly. Oh, it's a Storm's Wrath. Great. I think I'll be fine, so I don't really need to like run around too much. And as our build setup, we actually have a lot of, as you can see, you can't really see anything. It's lovely. It's a great build. Where is the pristine key? Don't I click the pristine key right there? As you can see, the build just doesn't suffer from any real issues. I'm getting a little CC'd right now because I'm not applying my stuff. But I'm kind of playing really bad, so I mean this is kind of hilarious, really. But I just wanted to show you kind of what the build does. It doesn't even really care. you just kind of dive in and you start smashing things up. Things will start exploding. There it is. There's the ring. I usually don't hang around for. Ooh, that does hurt. I usually don't hang around for any quests or things like that. Now, I will say that there are some that are pretty lucrative. If you hang around, you're a lower level character, and you're just like waiting to get that next piece of gear. Totally, you can figure that one out. And like do the quests that are good for you. See, like when this gets down, I'm just gonna put on Blood Mist, and it's not gonna kill any damage. So honestly, you don't even need to care about that. But you see, I apply, and then you'll see that our cooldowns just go crazy, and then we use this, and then it applies more cooldown reduction, and we just continue on to the next one. You cast like Harry Potter, dive in, get in there. I'll hide under here for now because I'm like so close to it. No reason not to take half your life of damage or whatever. We're trying to slay the blasphemers. Last wave, pretty welcome to this build. This build really loves, honestly, any of the what do you call it? It really loves any of the shrines. The shrines are great. The shrines are really effective. It really feels it gives you that Diablo 3 feel, or next level Diablo 3 feel. Like once you get your build going, you do start feeling like this is it is the next iteration of Diablo 3 in terms of its world view and stuff like that. So, but you can see when you have Bone Storm up, they're not really able to do anything to you. Sorry if you can hear my controller in the background. I'm just kind of button mashing. But really, like it's such an easy play. When I apply darkness, I actually move faster. So I sometimes will reap if I'm trying to get past an enemy really quickly. I'll show you guys what I mean. Cast, dead. So if I want to get past enemies really quickly, what I'll do is I'll just do this. Find an enemy. Everyone's freaking dead, of course. All right, so I hit, and then I get a little bit of movement speed. So I hit, and then I move, hit, move, dive, and you just start running through, looking for the next pack. Apply, dive, in there. And you could also set up your Bone Storm before you go in there too. I usually like to set up my Bone Storm afterwards because having both Bone Storm and your Blood Mist on downtime does not feel good. So like they both kind of set each other off. So there's no real reason to kind of double dip and go crazy. Like if I'm on a boss or something, I might do that. Let's see if I can get it before. Ooh, nope. Whoops. I'm playing really sloppy right now, just for the record, because this is a speed run, right? But we have about 30% lucky hit chance. Best in slot would be to have lucky hit chance on the rings. So that you can use the best in slot weapon, which just increases your damage an insane amount. It's called like Black River, I believe is what it's called. I've never seen one, haven't gotten one yet, so that's all I got. But I found a lot of this stuff at the vendor. So yeah, I mean, this build has what it takes to really push. I'll probably show another video of me pushing. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of where it goes. Oh, glyphs. Okay, so we got the glyphs that I kind of was dumb and got control early on. Not really necessary, not really needed. If you're running this build, I would highly suggest running sacrificial. We got sacrificial, darkness, scourge, and then we also have abyssal. Let's see, yeah, and abyssal's right here. One, because sacrificial and abyssal give you the bonus to paragon nodes, so they're very effective at that. But also, it's just flat. You and your minions deal 10% increased non-physical damage. So it's just a flat increase to damage. This one's sacrificial. Again, you deal 10% increased damage while you have no active minions. Again, flat increase in damage. This one increases your shadow damage, and this one increases your shadow damage over time. So those are the 4 glyphs that you're looking for: is Scourge, Darkness, Sacrificial, and Abyssal. I messed up and had Control early on. I think it's because I only had those glyphs. But if you're running this build, I really believe that these are the ones to do. I'm almost to 15 on this one, really stoked to get this all the way, because then I'll get the extra node. And yeah, Paragons are pretty difficult, but you'll figure it out, all right? Sorry, this was a long video, but I feel like we needed to go over everything just to make sure that you guys knew that, hey, this build slaps. I think I could do, like I said, I did a 45, and it wasn't too hard. But it was with a completely different build and one that's not as juiced up as this. I really tried to make Blight work, and Blight just never really worked out. It was tough for my friends to get through my bone prison, and it just wasn't really fun for them to get trapped in with the enemies and die. So I decided to go back to this build. It's like they either get to not see the screen at all, or you get trapped in with a monster that you can't handle and you die. So those are your options. Anyways, this is Mr. Big Nate. Hey, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.